Hey everyone, hello, hello. Hi everyone, welcome, welcome. My name is Kayla. Welcome everyone. And so if you'll be watching after, so today I will be talking about switch on your brain. If you're joining, please say something, say your name, and just say where you're from. And please leave a like. So today we're going to be talking about switch on your brain. And I'll be talking about from a book that I read. It's called switch on your brain, and the other is Dr. Caroline Leaf. So she's in neuroscience. I don't know if you have ever heard of her. She's in neuroscience. She works on the brain. So who more to talk about this than the brain? And also she's also a Christian, and I know there's a lot of scientists that don't believe in God, but she's a firm believer that God created us, and God created us very unique. So she talks about switching on your brain in her book, and how she talk about that is she explained that each thought is unique and each thought matters, and whatever we think we are, before you say your career path, right? You say maybe you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. You had to actually sit and think about what you want to be. So in order for you to become whatever you want to be, it shows you that you have to actually think about it. So I'm just gonna go to the reference in her where she go over it, and this is what she says: what we think about affects us both physically and emotionally. According to researchers, the vast majority of the illness that plague us today are a direct result of toxic thought. Yes. So here she talks about that what we think actually affects our body. Hello, if you're joining, please say something. My name is Kayla, and today we're going to be talking about switch on your brain. I'll be talking about switch on your brain, and it's the author is Dr. Caroline Leaf. You can look up. She's very popular. She's always on Instagram. She's always on Facebook and YouTube, and she talks about switch on your brain, that what you think is very powerful. And here, I will just read a passage of what she says. And she says, we take every thought prisoner and make it obey. So she's speaking from the Bible. So whenever she talks, she's always referencing the Bible. That is actually one thing that I like about her. So in 2 Corinthians 10 verse 3, it says, we take every thought prisoner and make it obey the Messiah. And here is her tip. And she says, thoughts are real and occupy mental states. So here she's telling us that our thoughts are real, that whatever we think, that's what we become. So if you're listening, I just want to encourage you and to tell you that if you do not have any negative thoughts, don't think on it, don't dwell on it, because if you tell yourself that you are not good enough, you are going to start to believe that you are not good enough. You have to tell yourself, I am good enough and I deserve the best. So don't think anything negative. Please don't do that to yourself, because now researchers are actually saying that sometimes when we are physically sick, it's not because we are sick, it's because our thoughts are too toxic. A lot of time I know there's clinical depression, people where they're so depressed where they have to take medication. But I'm talking about sometimes we become depressed because we are thinking that we're not good enough. Our life is not going good. We think about all the negative things. I know it's also Corona, right? And we may think that, okay, my life is bad, but I always say waking up is one of the greatest blessings, because you may know people that die. You may have family member that passed away, and waking up is something very grateful for. So I would encourage you, if you're listening, to get a diary. Because what I have a gratitude diary. Because sometimes I won't be a hypocrite. Sometimes I think negative thoughts, and I realize when I'm not thinking negative, I am happy. I don't think about anything that's not good. But when I start to think about negative thoughts, I get sad, I cry, I will may say, oh, you're not good enough or whatever. And after a while, you start to act exactly how you think. If you tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am sexy, or I am a good cook, if you tell yourself, I am a good cook, and you go and you cook, your food is going to taste good, maybe to you, because you know what? You tell yourself, I am going to make the best meal possible. And you actually do that. So, continuing, she said, it is nice to think of victory, but how do we believe in victory? How do we believe that things can change? It starts in our mind. It's easy to think that thoughts are not really things and don't really impact our health and the quality of our lives. I mean, what is a thought, right? Isn't it just a bit of hot hair? No, actually it's not. The most important thing is that we the most important thing is what we do with the thought. So it's what we actually do with the thought. Because you may think of something like someone, they may say that I'm gonna kill someone. You may see the person and you hate that person, and after a while, whenever you see that person, you become so angry, you consume yourself. If you're joining, please say hello, please say your name or where you're from, and please like, so it can help the algorithm. So today we're talking about the book with Dr. Caroline Leaf, and the title of the book is Switch On Your Brain. You may wonder, how can we switch on our brain? So in this book, she goes into details, and she say that one way we can actually switch on our brain is to think positive. Yes, switch on your brain. That's the way you can switch on your brain, is to actually think positive. If you're joining, please say hi, stay where you're from, and leave your name. So she talks about that we can actually switch on our brain by actually thinking positive. So you can actually switch on your brain by thinking positive. Always think good things. And here she said, thoughts are real. Thoughts are very real. When we think on something, we build it in the structure of our brain. A thought is a physical entity changing the environment of our brain. So when I was doing this psychology course, if you my professor, she actually brought in a real brain, and if you see the structure of the brain, it's like it's not straight. If you have ever seen a brain, everything is like zigzag, zigzag, right? It's like a S. It's all crumble, and it's saying that the brain, it's like elasticity. Is like if someone gets in an accident, gets in the brain, their brain is damaged. By actually, as time goes by, they can actually train the brain. The brain can come back to normal. So it's saying we can actually train the brain. Because it said it takes 21 days to develop a habit, right? 21 days. So if you can think positive for actual 21 days, you can actually change the structure of your brain. So if you wanna become a good runner, right? You are not going to become a good runner the first or the second time or the third time you go running. You have to consistently run. And then after you consistently run, you train every day, because like I was listening to Usain Bolt, one of the greatest runner of Jamaica, and he was saying that he used to get up every morning at 4 a.m. in the morning and run. And he said that he hates running. He does not like running. But in order for him to become an expert in what he's doing, he had to train his mind. And it's not only, it's not physical. If you're a runner, you have to physically get up and run. No, you have to mentally prepare your mind. Because if you're not mentally prepared, okay, like when you get up for work, no one want to get up for work, right? You have to get up for work, because if you don't go to work, you can get a letter, and after you get numerous letters, and after you may get chances, you get fired, right? You don't want to go to work, but you have a family to take care of. You have business you have to take care of. So you have to tell your mind, I don't want to get up. So before you get up physically, you have to maybe set an alarm, and then mentally you get up, and then physically after you get up, you feel better, right? I remember one morning I did not want to get up. I hate getting up. And then eventually I got up, and I tell my mind, Kayla, you have to get up right now. And I remember I got up right now. I went straight into the shower, and I felt really, really, really good. So you have to tell your mind. You have to try and train your mind. I know some people, oh, positive thinking alone won't work. No, positive thinking alone don't work. That's why you can't just think positive today and don't think positive tomorrow. It has to be a pattern. It has to be something that is consistent. So if you're listening, please say hi. I see you like, which is good. If you want to comment, I guess that's fine. But thank you for joining. And yeah, so here she's saying that thoughts are real, and with whatever we think, we're actually structuring our mind. That whenever we think positive, it's like whenever you think positive, you are training the brain positively, right? And when you think negative, you're actually training the brain negative, right? So if you said, you know what, I am intelligent, eventually you start to act like you are intelligent. You start to act like you're intelligent, and you're going to read more. And once you read more, because I like to read, because when you read, it's like you're traveling, right? But you're traveling with your mind. You may learn new words, so you can train the mind, but you have to think positive. And here she say, a thought is a physical entity changing the environment of our brain and body. When we choose to allow a thought to grow inside our brain, feeding it with attention and time, it will affect the cells in our brain and body, impacting our future thoughts, words, and action. It is therefore incredible important to monitor what we allow in our head. So here she's saying that we have to monitor every single thing that goes in our mind. We have to monitor it. We have to be careful, just like when you have a baby, because you have this baby and the baby is fragile. That's your gift. That's your seed. You bring forth a child. And you are going to do everything to protect that child. You're going to make sure the child, certain things do not go in the child's mouth, because you love the child and you really want to protect that child. So it's actually the same thing with our mind, because we love yourself. And if you don't fully love yourself and you're listening, I ask that you fully love yourself, and you fully be careful of what you put in. And also, it's not only thought, it's also with what we eat. What we eat actually affect us mentally and physically, because sometimes people may go to the doctor, and the first thing a doctor will ask them, what are you eating? You actually need to change your diet. In order for you to lose weight, you actually have to change your diet. You can't just eat anything you want to eat if you want to lose certain pounds. So it's just like with our mind. If you want to switch on your mind, and if you want to always be in a positive, because motivation, you don't always have motivation. That is where discipline comes in. You have to be disciplined. You have to tell yourself, even though I don't want to exercise, I have to exercise. Like, even though I don't want to eat healthy, I have to eat healthy, because it's not only you don't want to lose weight because you want to look good. Of course, you want to look good, but you want to feel healthy. And it's always good when you have that great internal feeling, right, guys? So you want to always practice in discipline, because discipline is actually very, very important. And here she says that it is therefore incredibly important to monitor what we allow in our head, taking every thought prisoner and making sure that the things we think about, the good and the wholesome, not toxic and harmful. We are what we think. So think wisely. Yes, guys. So here she's saying that we are what we think. So you have to think wisely. Just like if you want to lose weight, you have to choose what you eat wisely. You can't just eat anything. So if you're listening, and if there is something that there's a certain topic that you would like for me to talk about, so please just leave it in a comment. And just I also you can also follow me on Instagram is KK Vlogger. Actually, I will leave the link in the description. So you have to try and always think positive. You have that is the only way you can actually switch on the brain. To me, want to know, yeah, you can actually switch on the brain. And also, what she was saying, that I know there's a lot of Christians, a lot of non-believers, sorry, that don't non-believers, scientists, most scientists that actually do not believe in God, because they're saying, okay, science, like you have science and there is, why do we need God? And they try to do experiment hypotheses. But she was saying in her book, in her knowledge, and she was saying that science lead her to God. So the more that she studies science, is more that there is an appreciation for God, because where does all these things come from? I think Stephen Hawkins, he was brilliant guy. He had he had the highest IQ ever in the world. That's what they're saying. And he didn't believe in God. He was saying there is no God, and a lot of people think that everything just appear in thin air. Because when I love nature, so when I always say I love nature, when I look at nature, I think to myself that there has to be something greater. There has to be a God, someone that creates things. When you look at the animal nature is still there. We're actually going through a pandemic. I don't know if you think of it how I think of it. I'm like, we're going through a pandemic, and some of us don't have food to eat. We have lost our jobs, but nature is taken care of. And I'm like thinking, the waters are there. The waters aren't dry. The lakes aren't dry. The trees, they're still blooming. Rain are still coming. So nature is actually being taken care of. So if nature don't worry about anything, and I don't know if you're listening, I don't know if you're Christian, I'm sorry if I offend you, which I am a Christian. So I always like to talk about nature. I find whenever I see nature, it just reminds me of God's great power, So you just have to think positive, because we can actually switch on our brain. We can actually make a positive impact, If you want to do anything in life, you really have to think positive and change the way you thought. And also that come back to self-love. I once heard this thing that say that confidence is not if they like me. Confidence is, even though they do not like me, that I am going to show up and I am going to love myself. So in order for you to talk about confidence, you have to think positive, right? So I'm just going to go in another one of her reading. And here she quotes a Bible scripture. Yeah, she quotes a Bible scripture, and it's from Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. And it says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set it before you, life and death, blessing and curses. Choose life so that you and your descendant can live. So here, the Bible scripture reading is saying that out of the mouth is life and death. Because whatever you think comes to life. One thing I want to point out here that she's saying that words are very powerful. Words are life. Because the minute you think something, you start to act like it. If you tell yourself that you don't have any self-confidence, you're going to be timid. But if you tell yourself that I am confident, you know that whatever I want to accomplish, I am going to accomplish it, even though it doesn't happen at the pace that I want to. Because I think as human beings, we get into the habit of comparing ourselves with others, and that can be very detrimental. As a person, for years I still do it, to look at that person. You may look at someone, maybe you start YouTube with, and then there maybe get monetized, and what am I doing wrong? But we have to remember that we are all unique. We're all here for different purpose. Imagine that if someone were just like you would be so annoyed, right? So like everyone have their roles. Some people are very funny, and you may not be that funny, and you are happy because that person is funny, so we have different gifts. I remember I went to get my fingerprints done, and after leaving, for some reason I felt very important, because I'm thinking here, no one has my DNA. No one in the world has my DNA. So I want you to take if you can take anything from this, take away that you are unique, and there is no one like you. There is no one like you. You may have, even if you have a twin, you and your twin are completely different. Normally on the twin, they're always different physical traits, like something where the mom can actually point at. A mom can actually know her twins, know who or what. Can they have this special physical attributes or their personalities? So you may be a twin, and still, even though you come from the same womb, you're completely different. So you have to remember that you are unique, and there is no one like you. So I would just go into what she says here. The choices you make impact your health. So as I was saying earlier, that whatever you eat impacts your life, that you have to eat healthy food. Not only you want to eat healthy because you want to lose weight and you want to look beautiful, but you want to eat healthy so that mentally you're in a good shape. Mentally, because beauty does not last forever. You can go down the road today and you can get into an accident. So mentally, you have to prepare your mind, and you have to just try and think positive. Try and think positive. And here's what she says. This verse is one of my favorite. It's compelling and challenging. We are designed to do our own brain surgery and rewire our brain by thinking and choosing to renew our mind. So that's what I was saying earlier when I said that the brain is like an elastic. When you pull an elastic, eventually, no matter how much you pull it, it will come back together. So that is what she's saying, that we can rewire your brain. And the only way that you can rewire your brain is actually by thinking positive. That's the only way you will able to rewire your brain, is by thinking positive. And I said before, as Dr. Caroline states in her book, is that thoughts are very real. Say for example, cheating. When a person starts cheating, they don't immediately do the act with the person. They think about the person, they talk about the person, they talk to the person every day, and then it comes, then it form into a bond. So you have to realize that you are what you think, and your thoughts are super, super real. So always try to change how you think, and your life will be so, so much better. And here she says, it all begins with choice. Whatever we do in life is choice. I know there are some atheists that their argument is, if God was so real, why couldn't he have stopped Adam and Eve from why could he have stopped Adam from eating the fruit? Why does he allow so many natural disasters? But it all comes down to choice. God gave us free will. God could have decided to make us as robots. He could have said, you know what? I make you, I can control you, but he's a loving God. He wants us to actually make our own decision. That's what he wants. He doesn't force us to be his children. He gave us free will. He gave us free choice to serve him. God will never force us to serve him because he wants us to serve him freely. Imagine if you were had to forced to do stuff all the time. You don't want to do it because it's not free will. Imagine if you don't want to force someone to love you, because after a while it's not going to be sweet, it's not going to be good. You're going to be forcing someone to love you. So just like how you don't want to ever force someone to love you, even though you may want that person to love you, you want to let them go, because in the end you really, really love them, and you just want the best for them. Yes, so here she's saying, we thus live in a community in both the present and the future. What we choose today has a lasting impact. This verse compels us to examine our thoughts and ask whether they are life-bearing or death-bearing. As I was saying, blessing comes from blessing and curse come from our thoughts and our tongue. So you have to think to yourself, are these thoughts that I'm thinking, are they life? Are they bringing life? When someone says something positive to you, you feel good. Like you wanna do better. You want to do better. But if someone keeps saying to you, you're a bad worker, you're not doing anything. Let's, for example, you work and your boss doesn't validate you or show any appreciation, you do not want to work. You actually do not want to work. But if your boss say, you know what, you're doing good, you want to work better. For me, if you tell me I'm doing good, I'm going to always try to improve and improve. So that's just me. Maybe you are different, but it shows you how powerful word is. Even for women are different. Men are more drawn by physical things, like by how women look. But for us women, we are not moved by physical beauty. We are moved by thoughts. What a guy tell us, or what someone tell us. So men are not really moved by that, and men are made up so differently. But so it just show you how important it's good to think positive and always try to think positive. And while you're trying to rewire your brain, say positive things to others so you can actually help rewire someone's brain. Because whenever you are, say, blessed financially, the goal is to actually help others. You want to help others to live a better life. You want to help others to be the best version of themselves. And the goal is to help others. The goal is to, there is enough love in the world to go all around. And it said in Deuteronomy 30, verse 19, she says, is also incredibly encouraging. Through our thoughts, we can be our own microsurgeon as we make choices that will change the circuit in our brain. So here, this wonderful neurosurgeon, she's saying that with our thoughts, we can be our own microsurgeon. So we can actually rewire our brain. If you get into an accident, first mentally, you have to try and mentally be better. You need the mental capacity to get up and go to physiotherapy. So once you change your mind, so many miraculous and so many beautiful things can happen. So you have to change your mind. If you join in, please say hi. They left. Yes. So you have to actually change your mind, keep thinking positive things and keep telling yourself that you are deserving of love. And here she's saying we make choices that will change all the circuit in our brains. So no matter what debt we may have faced in the past, we can still choose life. We can choose to change. There is always hope. So here she is telling us that we can choose to change despite the situation is. So no matter what you're going through, once there is life, there is hope, and you can choose to change the trajectory of your life. And also speaking that thoughts can actually change the trajectory of our life. How we think can change our life. How we think, it affect our perception of how we actually view the world. So how you think will affect you view the world. If we think that the world is evil, the world is cruel, the world is wicked, guess what? We're going to go out in the world and we're going to like hate people, thinking that people are evil, there's no good person. I remember I used to watch Crime Watch Daily. I was obsessed. And the reason why I was really obsessed with Crime Watch Daily, it was because the narrator, he was so good. I love this voice, and I also love how he narrates the story. So every morning, because I remember my friend, she came by me and she started listening to it. So while we were staying together, and from then, that's all I actually listened to. So then after she left, she was staying by me for the weekend, and I was just obsessed with Crime Watch Daily. And after a while, I started to feel really unhappy because all I was watching is people killing people, people killing people. And the sad thing was the people that were doing the killing was always someone that's close to them. So for me now, I started thinking, can I trust anybody? Like when my friend killed me, I started being paranoid of people, like having people close to me, because it was always the person that was close to them actually doing the killing. So sorry, hold on 1 second. Yeah, so it was always some evil person doing the killing. So you have to even watching the news, focus on good things. The news always have bad things. The news always have bad things. So you could watch the news, but don't focus on that. You have to try and protect your mind. Here she's telling you to just try and protect your mind. So, and you have to always laugh. Always try, don't stay down, always try to be in upbeat spirit, because the brain goes along with what we tell our mind. You may say that you feel down, and then all of a sudden you just feel really down. You feel in a downbeat spirit. So you have whatever you tell the mind, it's gonna work with. Whatever you tell the mind is gonna work with. So you have to work with your mind and tell your mind, you know what? I am feeling good. I am feeling positive. You just have to work with your mind, but you have to give it good things to work with. So I think a person that kills, that become a serial killer don't just become a serial killer. They have to think. They have to think about it. They may see someone they don't like, and they just want to act on it. So you have to think that, so I think the person that becomes a serial killer, they think about it. I know they think and they think, and then eventually they act on it. So you want to make sure when you have negative thoughts, you don't act on it. Then no, it's no longer become a thought. Once you act on it, so you have to try to act on it. Do not act on it, or you're gonna only act on good and positive things, right? So that's the only thing you're gonna act on. So remember that out of your mouth comes life and death. Because words are powerful. If someone says something really, really negative to you, it really affects you. It can damage you. I remember stuff that was said to me I was a kid, and as an adult, I haven't forget. And sometimes it hurts, because words are powerful. Words are really powerful and damaging, and it can really, really, really change your life. So as you go through the week, you really want to always think positive. You want to rewire your brain. As the lady said, you can be your own microsurgeon for your brain. You can actually help your brain. All you have to do is to think positive and protect your mind. Protect your mind. Just like how you may have a baby and you protect it so much because that's your baby. It's your mind. You have to protect it, and you have to treat your mind really, really good. So yeah, so here she's talking about laughter, and how good it is to always be in a cheerful spirit. And she quoted from the Bible, which is Proverbs 15, verse 13. It says, "A good heart maketh a cheerful countenance." So, good heart meaning that while you're thinking positive, you're going to always be cheerful. So, if you think negative things, you're not going to be cheerful. If you think negative things, you're always going to be in a very, very, very bad mood. So, if you want to be cheerful, you have to always think positive, and that's the only way you're actually going to rewire your brain, right? That's the only way you'll ever rewire your brain. So, and this is her tip when she said, smiling is good for your health. Even if you don't want to smile, just fake smile. Have you ever fake smile and realize, oh, I'm actually in a good mood? As they said, fake it till you make it. But I think you should practice it until you make it. So practice, make perfect. Just like in physical exercise, if you want to be a runner, you have to run every day. You have to get up and you have to really, really, really train. So just like with your mind, you have to train your mind. You have to train your mind. And it says, and this is what she says, did you know the mere act of smiling can stop a negative, toxic mindset? In fact, research shows that smiling a lot can rewire the circuit in the brain that helps you keep a positive attitude towards life. So she's saying here, smiling can actually change the brain. It can actually rewire your brain. Like you may see someone that's always frowning. You do not want to go to the person and say hello, no, because they're not approachable, right? So if you see someone that's smiling, you're gonna want to approach them because they're welcoming, right? And while they're smiling, no, it has an impact on you. So we have to learn to show love and always think positive. And she says, this means God has designed us in such a way that when you smile with your eyes and mouth, a real, deep, meaningful smile called the Dutchess smile, the part of your brain involved in decision making, intellectual pursuit, Shifting between thoughts and thinking things through rationally becomes a stronger and more effective. Simply put, smile makes you happier and more intelligent. So here she's saying smiling makes you more happier and intelligent. So as you go throughout your week, smile with someone, even if someone or is not smiling, smile with them because it would change your countenance. As we were talking earlier, it's about changing you internally. You want to always internally be happy. You know, even if outside you feel down, you feel depressed, when you smile, it actually changes your countenance. So as you go throughout the day, you want to smile. You want to try and rewire your brain. Yes, you want to try and rewire your brain. Simply put, simply smiling makes you more intelligent. Read that before. And just watch the effect on these rounds because smiling, like an attitude, is contagious. So, as I was saying before, if you're frowning, someone is not going to approach you because you are not smiling. They're going to turn away. So, being positive is very, very contagious. So, you want to have people around you. So you want to smile. For a kid, if a kid sees someone that's angry, they're not going to go because kids are so tender and fragile. Once you're smiling, they will come to you. If you give kids stuff, they will come to you. So you have to develop a positive attitude and always put a smile on your face. In fact, it's almost impossible not to respond to a real smile. As I was saying, once you have a smile on, it's impossible for people not to approach you. They are going to want to get to know you. They're going to want to be a friend. You know, so you may see some people and they have this aurora. They're so positive, like people just gravitate to them, you know? And it's because outside they always have on a smile. Always watch a confident person. I realize most confident people, they're always smiling. So as you're listening and as you go throughout the week, smile and smile and smile and just be nice. And even if someone is not mean to you, just smile at them. The only way to let a person calm a person down is that you don't match their tone. Like I was watching this thing where this guy, he was giving ladies advice and he said, if you want to get your spouse, whatever, calm down, especially guy, don't match him. Whenever he's talking, just let him talk because men's voice are pretty loud and stuff. And if you match his voice, like he's not going to calm down. So the conversation won't go anywhere. So whenever you're trying to get personal, you have to be really, 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 really calm. You know, so as you go through this day, do not give person the same energy that they give you. It's really easier said than done. But if you try that, I think the world will be a better place, will be different. So yeah, so just don't give. Sometimes people don't give love. People give what they have. So if someone is mean to you, it's because they have been hurt. So sometimes someone may be mean to us and we hate them. No, you have to try and give love. You know, so if you're joining, please say hi, please like. So we're talking about switching on our brain, how we can rewire our brain. So here we have Dr. Caroline Leaves talking about how we can switch on our brain. So right now we're talking about how smile can actually change us, how smiling will let other people come to us. And it says, just watch the effect those around you, that when you smile, that those around you will change. People will now gravitate to you. In fact, it's almost impossible not to respond to a real smile. The mirror neurons God has so graciously wired in your brain are designed to respond with a burst of feel good chemical that lift your spirit and intellect. Smiling can also overall improve your health. So they're saying when you smile, it overall improve your health. So we can see how the brain works, that whatever we think, it affects our environment. Because if you're smiling and someone is smiling back, you're having a positive impact on the environment. So if you want to learn to rewire your brain, you have to always try and smile. I was reading this thing where it say, if you want to know, if you go on a date and if you want to know if someone likes you, you know what you have to do? Normally the person that likes you will mirror you. So if you are touching your hands, they will actually touch their hand. So we're seeing that when we smile, there's a mirror nuance that is actually reflecting. So you always want to be kind, or you always want to smile. So yeah, so smiling can improve not only your health, but the health of people around you. So here, Dr. Caroline Leaf is saying that smile can impact the people around you. And the goal of life is to impact others around you, because when you die, people are not going to remember how much money you have. They will remember, but when you die, you can't actually walk with your money. Well, you can, but you can't do anything with it. So guys, as you're listening, as you go throughout your day, rest of the week, always try and make a positive impact on someone's life, because people, no matter how kind you are, people are always remember that. Like I once heard Oprah said, like the smallest things makes a difference. Like she said, if you go to Taco Bell and someone give you an extra napkin or maybe an extra fries, you are going to remember that, right? Because this is the smallest things that count. So guys, if you're watching, please like, it will help the algorithm so much. So you want to make sure that you leave an impact on the world. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I was raised by, I lived with this lady. Her name was Cherry. I think she died when I was around 11, 12. And I still remember her because growing up, I felt like an outcast. You know, I always felt like an outsider. I never remember we call her Aunt Cherry, that she was always nice to me. And there are days, even though she died maybe 20 years ago, there are days I still think about Aunt Cherry, and I think she was so nice to me that I felt like she really loved me unconditionally. So, you know, if you realize someone that they may feel like an outsider, be nice to them. Teach your kids that when they go to school and kids are bullied, be nice to them, because people will forget what you do, people will forget what you say, but people will never forget how you make them feel. So you know, sometimes we're in a very bad mood and someone comes and we're just angry and we're so mean to them, and then in a snap of the moment, when that is all over, we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, you know, I was mean to that person. And you know, sometimes when we're actually, say someone do us something and we're actually revenging that person, sometimes we feel really hurt, you know. So you really want to try and make a difference in someone's lives. And here she says, it is a way of reflecting and sharing God's love. You know, as Christians, I was telling someone that as Christians, I don't think we really know how to love. If we say we believe in a God that really love us, that care for us, you know, is we are supposed to show each other love. That love covers all things, you know, that we have to learn how to love others. We have to really learn. So I want to say, so make an effort to smile more. Okay, here we are shown that by Caroline Leaf how the brain works. Here she's telling us that we have to try and change our thoughts. And one of them is thinking positive and smiling. So here we can see how powerful smiling is and how powerful thinking positive thoughts can really help us. So as you go through the week, always try and make a difference in someone else's life. And sometimes we just want to let God take over, because sometimes in our own strength we really can't do anything, but in God's strength all things are possible. All things are possible in the strength of God. So I'm going to do one last reading, and whoever is watching, I really don't know who it is. I just want to say thank you for actually watching. And I'll be reading from Psalms 46, verse 10, and it says, "Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nation. I am exalted in the earth." So God is powerful. Sometimes our human strength, we can't do it. Sometimes we just have to cry out to God and say, God, I have had enough. I remember there are days I cried to God and I said, God, emotionally, I can't make it. I need your strength. And there are days when I feel this peace of God covering over my life. There are days you may going through some things and you just feel this peace, and you just feel this whisper in your mind that telling you that we need God to help us, because we can't do it on our own. Life is hard. We're going through a pandemic and it's hard. Some people at home, they can't communicate with their family, and it's hard because we are social being. God made us to be social. We're made to love each other because no man is an island. No man can survive on their own. Even for building a house, like a house is there, you need so many people to build it. So we really, really need each other. And here, Dr. Caroline Leaf, this is her tip. This is what she says. If you are consistently in a busy mode, your mental and physical health will suffer. So, guys, you have to take a break. As I said, no man is an island. No man can do everything. You have to take a break and you have to rest. You have to rest. You have to let other people take over. When I was reading something in the Bible about the crucifixion of Jesus, and um, not even God could have carried the cross alone. He could have, but I think he wanted to leave an example that we need each other. When God came, he could have done his mission. He didn't need 12 disciples, but that was an example. Okay, he promised that he's leaving us, but he said he leave us the comforter. I remember when I was watched in the Bible, it said that when he was on the cross, Mary, I think her son is dying. She was distraught, and she told John to hug her and said, "This is your son, and this is your mother." So it's showing us that if we need each other, you may not have your blood relatives, or you may not have close relationship with blood relative, but a family can be something else. But we have to find solace in others to give us comfort, to give us grace. We need each other. So that's what thing I want to leave on my last note, that we need each other, because life can be really, really hard. And sometimes life can be unbearable. You may have a family member that died, and you need support. We just need support in life, and we can't make it alone. No one can make it alone, because sometimes we feel like we just want to crumble. I feel like I want to give up, but I want to say do not give up, because When I was doing accounting class, my instructor would say the darkest hour is just before dawn, before the sun comes out. You know, it's very dark. But then after 5 a.m., it's 6 a.m., the sun sets and it's so beautiful, So if you're listening and you're going through a hard time and you're struggling, I want to say, do not give up, because God loves you, and that focus on the people in your life that love you and care about you, because there are going to be days where you feel like you can't go on, but rely on those that love you and care about you. And here Dr. Caroline Leaf says, there is something so powerful about being still. We can strive to get things done. There will be times in our lives and we are called to hustle and work hard. But there's also time in our lives when we have to learn to say no. So you have to have boundaries. You can't do everything because you're just one person. Sometimes you have to let someone else take over. You have to let someone else take control. You have to let it go. When Jesus came, he had 12 disciples. He had people that helped him carry out the mission, and even though God had 12 disciples, he had very close friends. He had three, I think, Peter, John, and James. I don't remember. I know it's Peter and John. I don't remember the last one, but I know he was very close to John. I know even after he went, when John was on the island of Patmos, he visited John. So you need people that you can rely on, that you can rely on for support, because there come days where we are going to need support from others. And here it says, no, we will not be pressured into doing something. No, we will not let our circumstances burn us out, because God is greater than whatever we are facing in our lives. No, we will not let life get the better of us. Do not let life get the better of you. Always seek help. It's so good to seek help. We will not let whatever we're going through make us sick, depressed, and tired. Rest, partnered with gratitude and the realization that God's love is on our side, can help us maintain a sense of peace during turbulent time. So we have to be still. As I was saying, sometime we have to cry out to God, because before Jesus was crucified, he sweat blood. It means that the agony of the world was on his shoulder. He was telling God, I can't do this. But he had came to earth. He had a mission to accomplish, and he came and he accomplished that mission. So you have to sometime let things go. It's not every battle that we have to face. There's something we just have to let go. You have to just let go. Life can be hard. We're going through a pandemic, and a lot of people do not know where the next meal is coming from. A lot of people do not know how they're going to eat. In India, people are dying. People are lost. People are losing their hope. But today I want to say that do not lose your hope, because there's a God in heaven that loves you and cares about you, and as I was saying, that once there's life, there's hope. Once you're breathing, your lungs, the air breathing through your lungs, that it's a gift to be alive. Remember that life is a wonderful gift. I think once I heard Will Smith, this actor, said, although life can be hard, life can be beautiful, because sometimes the choices that we make in life, we allow our life to be bad, So we have to know that the choices that we make our choices today are tomorrow's future. So if we make decision, that's a way where we can rewire your brain. So it's still on the topic of switching on your brain. So because when we think positive, we're actually making a decision. When I think positive, you're making a decision, and that decision can lead to so many great things. So you want to always be thinking positive, and you want to learn to learn to accept yourself. I know a lot of time we come into that habit. We don't really accept ourselves, and that's something that we have to learn to do. So here this doctor, she's saying it can help us to choose life even when it seems we're surrounded by pain, suffering, and death. It can give us strength to carry on, to fight the good fight. It can help maintain our mental and physical well being. It is a time of restoration and renewal, giving us the energy to face the next day with a smile on our face. So here she is telling us that sometimes we may feel that we can't go on, but you just have to rest in the arm of Jesus and remember that God loves you. I don't know who is listening, but I want to say thank you for listening so far. You haven't commented, but that's fine. So I just want to say thank you. And that as you go through the day, that life can be hard, but always remember that Jesus loves you. He died on Calvary cross for you, and he said, "Take, give him our burdens." Because he will renew us, he will satisfy us, and he will make us into the people that we are to be. So I want to say that as you go through the week, stay blessed and remember that God has taken you this far. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And I hope you have a blessed and a wonderful day, and take care.